Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failer with another odds and ends video. Go ahead and chalk up your cue sticks because this video is all about the game of pool. We're going to take a look at what I think is the first appearance of a pool table in the 3D universe. It's in Vice City.
Where's Baker? I'm looking for Big Mitch Baker. Who's looking? Tommy Rossetti. Rossetti? You don't look like the law, so that's bought you a minute.
The bar in this cutscene features not just one, but two different pool tables. This is a mission given to Tommy by Mitch Baker. It's kind of a mid-game mission. It's called Alloy Wheels of Steel. And again, I think this is the first appearance of a pool table in the 3D universe. In the upcoming clip, I glitched into the interior world of Vice City, and we'll take a good look at the inside of the bar featured in that cutscene. You can see the two different pool tables, and then some cue sticks over here in the foreground. Good stuff. All right, enough Vice City. Let's get back to Home Sweet Home San Andreas. In our last video, we completed the BMX challenge, and then we bought all 6 safe houses here on this first island of the game. We ended in this Mulholland safe house, very fancy. And now we're just going to head out and go to the one pool table on this island. There's a pool table on each of the different islands. Actually, there's a couple of pool tables scattered around, and I'm sure we'll visit all of them at some point in this series. But anyway, there's really only one that's accessible to us at this moment without getting a 4-star wanted level. And it's very close to CJ's home. It's in Ganton, and it's going to be at the, what's it called? The 10 Green Bottles bar. So let's skip the drive all the way south to that bar. And here we are. 10 green bottles on the left, and we'll just walk around the back. I've got a police escort making sure I arrive here safely. So let's go ahead and save our game, which will advance time 6 hours. It'll put us somewhere around 3:30 in the morning. Nothing like going to the 10 green bottles bar at 3:30 on a weekday morning. CJ's got work tomorrow, but he doesn't care. He's going to play some pool today. Okay, so we head in, and let's talk to this guy at the pool table.
There's plenty of room. Game of pool ain't the same without a little money involved.
You can see you have to wager between $50 and $1,000. And when you play pool in San Andreas, you always get the break. CJ always goes first. And I didn't make any balls on that break, so it's now the other person's turn. The cheat activated is me putting in the double speed cheat code because a game of pool in San Andreas takes a long time. So I just played the entire thing in double speed. And I'll talk all about the rules of 8-ball, but the only rule you need to know about right now is that the 8-ball, which is the solid black ball, has to go in last. If you hit the 8-ball in before you've sunk all of your other balls, whatever that means, you lose. And that's what my opponent is going to do right there. There's the 8-ball in the corner, and I win. And it's going to say that I win $2,000. Really, I won the $1,000 that I wagered because they took that off as soon as I wagered it. And then I won another $1,000. So I only won $1,000, but I had to put up a stake of $1,000 as well. And now we'll play another round. And while we're playing this round, let me just go ahead and explain all the rules of 8-ball. So in the beginning of the game here, in the beginning of this particular rack, you saw all 15 balls in a triangle. 7 of the balls are mostly white, but with a stripe. Those are called the striped balls, the stripes, and they are numbered 9 through 15. The other 8 balls are all solid colors. Those are called the solids, numbered 1 through 8. Now the 8 ball itself is special, so ignore that one. That isn't considered to be a stripe or a solid, even though it's technically solid. So whoever hits a ball in first, whatever kind of ball that is, whether it's a stripe or a solid, that determines what that player is going for the rest of the game. So my opponent hit a solid ball in when it was first his turn, and that means that he is trying to hit in all the solids in any order. So that is the numbers 1 through 7. In any order, they're all the solid color balls. And I am trying to make the striped balls, numbered 9 through 15. Once you make all of the balls in your category, either all of the solids or all of the stripes, that is when you start shooting at the 8-ball. And if you hit the 8-ball in after you've hit all the other balls in your collection of balls, then you win the game. So it's called 8-ball. You hit the 8-ball in legally, and you win. So you can see here, I'm aiming at that striped yellow ball. That's the 9, and I missed. If you make one of your balls on your turn, then you get to go again. But if you miss a ball on your turn, then you pass the turn to the other person. So now he made a ball. He made the solid 1, and now he's going for the solid, 2 or something, but I don't think he made anything. And so since he didn't make anything, it is now CJ's turn again, my turn. And so I'm looking, there's 2 different views you can take. You can either have the overhead view or the first person view. So this is the overhead view, there's first person, and it looks like I'm going for that orange stripe 13 in the side pocket. And you change your aim by rotating the mouse around. You can put spin on the ball. On this screen right here in the bottom right, there's a like a virtual cue ball with a dot in the middle. So you can put top spin or back spin, side spin, whatever you want. You do that with the WASD keys on the keyboard. And when you're ready to take your swing, you pull your mouse towards you. You pull the mouse backwards on the table. And however fast you pull the mouse, that determines how hard you hit the ball. So there, I didn't hit the ball hard enough. I should have pulled the mouse towards me faster. Now, I mentioned if you don't make a ball on your turn, then you lose your turn and the other person gets to go. But the cue ball stays where it is when you lose your turn in that way. But there are a lot of things you can do. Like that guy right there, he just sunk the cue ball by accident. And that is called a scratch. And you can see right now I'm placing the ball wherever I want to put it using WASD. I can move this ball any place on the table. And there are a bunch of different ways in which you can scratch, in which you can not just lose your turn, but like lose your turn with the penalty of letting the other person put the ball wherever they want. I won the previous game because my opponent sank the 8 ball before they had sunk all the rest of their collection of balls. And now I just won this game because my opponent sunk the 8 ball legally, but also sunk the white ball on the same turn. That is an automatic loss in the game of 8 ball. So we'll come back to the save file where I won 2 games just by default. But in the meantime, let me show you, oddities and quirks about the game of pool. First, there are a number of ways where you can scratch. That means that you do something where you don't just lose your turn, but the other person gets to put the ball wherever they want. So one of them is this. If you don't hit any balls, look at the error or kind of warning message in the bottom left. It's going to say missed all balls, and that is an automatic scratch. So not only do I lose my turn here, but the other player gets to put the ball on the table wherever they want. The CPU always puts it in the same spot, right there in the middle. I think it's where you normally break from. So that's the CPU never moves it from there. They just automatically put it there. But CJ can move the ball any place he wants to when the opponent scratches. Here's another way to scratch. It's to hit the white ball into a pocket. Again, that means the other player gets the ball in hand. They can put it anywhere they want. The foul there was called pocketed white. In this clip, you can see I'm supposed to pocket the stripes, but I'm going to hit a solid ball first. It's going to be the only ball that I hit. But if you hit a ball of the opposite kind of ball first, then that is a foul. And again, the other person can put the ball wherever they want. So the foul here is going to be hit the wrong ball first. Here's a good example of using spin on the cue ball. I want to hit this blue and white striped ball into that corner that it's right next to. Look in the bottom right. You see that cue ball? I'm going to move that little dot to the right. That's right English I'm applying. And that means that when the cue ball hits the wall, the cushion, then it will bounce off in the direction of the spin, bounce off to the right in this case. In this clip, you can see on the stripes, another foul is where you hit your ball first. I'm going to hit this orange striped one first, but then no ball hits a rail after you hit your ball. So if the cue ball hits a rail, it's fine. If the object ball hits a rail, it's fine. If any other ball hits a rail, it's fine. Something has to hit a rail. Otherwise, it's a foul, a scratch. And then again, the other person gets to put the ball wherever they want.
I only play you if you want to make it interesting. What you want from me? You want to place a small wager? Come on, put your money where your mouth is, player.
Here are a couple of oddities I read in the wiki. First, if you shoot the opponent in the head, after he's already dead, he stands up with his hands raised in the air and then a few seconds later falls over. Just to prove that wasn't a fluke, I'll do it again. We'll shoot this guy in the head, and then he'll put his hands up and stay there for a few seconds standing, and then falls over. The wiki also says that you can't do a stealth kill on your opponent in pool. That's half true. So here I'm going to do a regular stealth kill on a regular NPC, and it works as expected. The person dies. And I'm going to do a stealth attempt over here, then it's going to work, except he's not going to die. He's just going to stand there perfectly fine. So to do the stealth kill on PC, you push the C button to crouch, and then you hold the right mouse button until the person you're trying to kill is targeted, waiting for the green arrow, green something, there it is over his head, and then you just hit the left mouse button to do the attack. And he does not seem to care. It's very strange. I don't know how somebody discovered this, and I don't know why this guy would be treated differently in this one particular way, right? He does succumb to like regular knife slashes, but not stealth kills for some reason.
Show me the color of your money.
So now we're back to our regular save file, and this will be the save file I use going forward, like into the next video. And my goal is to beat the CPU. I just want to win one game legitimately. In this particular save file, I actually already won 2 games against the CPU, but in both cases, it's because he committed one of the 2 most egregious fouls you can commit in 8-ball, and you automatically lose the game. So in the first case, he pocketed the 8-ball out of turn, like before he was supposed to, and in the second case, he pocketed the 8-ball legitimately, but also hit the cue ball in the same shot. And in both cases, you lose the game automatically. So, while we watch my futile attempts to beat the CPU, I'm going to read a bit from the wiki, and I say futile because the CPU is actually quite good. I'll say that if the CPU has a clear path between the cue ball and whichever ball he's aiming at, meaning there's nothing in between, no balls in between, and there isn't like a crazy extreme angle that he needs to hit the object ball at in order to get it to go into a pocket, the CPU is perfect. Like, it hits in 100% of the shots as long as it has a clear line of sight and there isn't a crazy extreme angle that needs to be applied. That said, the CPU does have some weaknesses. So the CPU scratches quite often. It pays no attention to the danger of scratching. And so I can put the ball wherever I want when the CPU scratches. And so that's one big advantage. And also the CPU just loses sometimes because it, accidentally hits the cue ball out of turn or accidentally pockets the white ball at the same time as the 8-ball. Said another way, the CPU never plays defense, and defense is a really important skill in the game of pool. If you don't have a good shot, sometimes it's better to just try to hit the ball softly and snooker your opponent. Try to make it so your opponent has a really difficult shot on their next turn. The CPU never does that. So while we watch my attempts to beat the CPU, let's read from the wiki. Pool, or 8-ball, is a sport in San Andreas and GTA 4. That's right, it only exists in those two games. It's a 2-player game. The aim is to get all the colored balls within the designated colors into the pockets in the table and then pocket the 8-ball to win. Green pool tables were first seen in Vice City. However, they could not be played by the player. It wasn't until San Andreas that pool could be played as a mini-game. In San Andreas, the pool's table design is based on real-life 1980s Valley Dynamo coin-operated pool tables, while in GTA 4, the pool tables there are likely based on diamond pool tables. In both games, it is a 7-foot table, so 7 feet means 7 feet long, and the width is always half of the length. So the pool table that we're watching right now is 7 feet long by 3.5 feet wide. There are 3 standard sizes of pool tables in real life, like if you want to go out and buy a pool table. So if you ever watch pool on the TV, like ESPN used to show like a bunch of billiards, they are playing on the largest standard size, that is 9 feet long and 4.5 feet wide. The most common size pool table that people buy for their homes is 8 feet by 4 feet. And if you just don't have enough room for the 8 by 4 foot table, then maybe you go with this smaller table, the one we're using right now, 7 feet by 3.5 feet. The wiki points out that regardless of what melee weapon CJ is holding when he starts the game of pool, he will leave with a pool cue, replacing that melee weapon in his inventory. In fact, you don't even need to start the game. As soon as you talk to the guy, even if you back out before you even decide on a wager, as soon as you talk to him, your melee weapon gets replaced by a pool cue. The wiki says it's possible to retrieve your wagered money by killing the challenger. Like if you lose and you're a really sore and pathological loser, then you can go kill the CPU there and retrieve your money. I think I did this once, and instead of getting the full $1,000 back, I got like $700 and change, so most of the money, but not all of it. If you killed this CPU player before you even make your wager against him, he doesn't drop any money, at least not in the examples that I tried. The wiki says the player can compete against another player using a second controller, but no money can be wagered. There are 5 different pool tables available in the game of San Andreas. We've got this one here in 10 green bottles. In San Fierro, there's something called Misty's. I guess that's a bar. In Bone County, there's the Lil Probe Inn, like little Lil Probe Inn. In Las Venturas, Casino Floor is the name of the location of the bar table, of the pool table, I should say. And then finally, another one in Las Venturas, the Craw Bar. The wiki has something listed here that I tried but could not replicate in my game. It says, take satchel charges, at least 15, and go to a bar that has a pool player. Throw them one by one onto the pool player. His health can be seen decreasing. After throwing all the satchels, his health bar will be black, indicating that he is meant to be dead, but he will still be alive like nothing happened. If the charges are detonated or the player tries to kill him in any other way, he will not die. So I tried this. I used a cheat code to give myself some satchel charges. I gave myself 15, put them all on the guy, and nothing happened. He didn't die. There was no loss of health that I could see in that, kind of green arrow on the top of his head. So if you know anything about this sort of glitch or oversight, let us know in the comments. But at least on my PC version, I could not replicate that. In the beta version of San Andreas, the pool tables were originally going to have green felt. That's sort of the standard felt color, not the blue felt that we see here. And also in the beta version of San Andreas, there was going to be a pool table in Mad Dog's crib, but apparently it didn't make the final cut for this game. And there's a bunch on the wiki about the role of the game of pool in GTA 4. I won't read very much of it here, but I will point out that in GTA 4, if you hit the cue ball, the white ball, too hard, it can leave the table. That's pretty cool. Other balls can leave the table, and if you accidentally hit the 8 ball off of the table, you automatically lose. And also that the felt surfaces of the pool tables in GTA 4 have like imperfections. It says that the surfaces are ragged, which means that the ball doesn't always roll in a straight line, right? Like it might hit a bump in the felt and then kind of deviate from the straight line path. I think that's those are two really cool details introduced in pool in GTA 4. So while we watch me getting my ass handed to me by the CPU pool player, let me go ahead and share my real-life experiences with the game of pool. I really like the game of pool. There's something about the geometry and the angles and the spin and the speed that just appeals to me. And so apparently, my family had a pool table when I was really young, but it was in a house that we lived in until I was 4, and I have no memories of that house and no memories of the pool table. But then, like in high school, I played pool a little bit at the local community center. That was a lot of fun. And then in college, one of the dorms had a pool table, and so I was there a bunch playing pool. That was a lot of fun. And then eventually I became a young adult and bought a house. And, another victory for me. Hooray. Bought a house and decided it was time for me to actually get my own pool table. So I bought an 8-foot by 4-foot pool table, and it was so great, gang. It was so much fun having this pool table in my house. Mostly I just played on my own. Occasionally I had a friend would come over and play with me. And sometimes my father would play with me, but at some point he got sick of losing to me because I was improving. And, you improve at pool when you have a pool table in your living room. And so I was never competitive worthy or whatever. I didn't enter any competitions, but definitely saw clear improvement from owning that pool table. I used a training device called Target Pool. What's the guy's name? Kim something? Kim Davenport, I think. Yeah, Kim Davenport. And it's just a training aid to help you get better at pool, like going from beginner to expert. And that was it was really cool to watch my progress there using that training aid. I also watched a lot of pool on TV. I mentioned ESPN. They used to show it regularly, 30 minutes or an hour after school. I would record it on a VCR and watched a bunch of almost exclusively 9-ball. It's a different game of pool than the 8-ball that we've been playing here. But I was just mesmerized by the way these professionals could bend the ball to their will. They just had all of these patterns memorized and the muscle memory to get the cue ball to go exactly where they wanted it to. And it wasn't just a matter of let me hit the next ball in, because in 9-ball you have to hit the balls in numerical order. First the 1 has to go in, then the 2 has to go in, then the 3 has to go in. So it wasn't just all right, let me hit the 2 in because that's the next one. It was let me hit the 2 in and figure out where I want the cue ball to go to put me in good position to hit the 3 in. But typically they wouldn't want to be in a straight line. They don't want a straight shot on the next ball, the 3. They want an angle so that they can then maneuver from the 3 to the 4. And just always putting this cue ball in the perfect area. And it just seemed like magic to me. And so just really, really enjoyed watching pool, watching the professionals do their thing. I also watched a bunch of trick shot pool. I didn't enjoy that one as much as the straight 9-ball. But there were some pretty impressive trick shots that also were shown on ESPN. And then I also watched something called the Moscone Cup. I think it's an annual or maybe every other year kind of competition between the best pool players in the U.S. versus the best pool players in Europe, something like that. It's a country competition, I guess I should say. And again, it's 9-ball, and I forget. I don't even think I watched that on TV. I think I watched that on YouTube, and so really enjoyed watching a bunch of the professionals work their magic on the pool table. So if you're a pool player or a pool watcher, let us know in the comments. It's a game that I wish I could get back into, but I don't have the space for a pool table at this moment. I guess I could just go look for a pool hall near where I live. Really, really enjoy pool and hoping to let my real life expertise rub off in the in-game pool attempt, although it hasn't been great so far. And I'm only showing you, this one run of 5 or 6 games in a row. But there are plenty of games that I'm not showing you where I just lost. The other guy hit all of his balls in and then hit the 8-ball in, and I lost. So let's see what we have left here. So we're hitting the solids in. So I've got the blue one and the green one left, and he just has a single striped ball to hit in. And so what I'm trying to do here is hit this 2 into the corner and get the cue ball to come off of the rail like it did there to put me in good position for the 6. And now the 8 ball is roughly in the middle of the table. So there's like I could hit this cue ball pretty much anywhere and have a decent shot at the 8 ball into some pocket. So here it is, gang. I've been trying for like 45 minutes, just failing at pool. I just have to hit this one in the corner and call it a victory. Let's do it, CJ. You got this. Come on. And choke. Totally choked. Oh my goodness. I was so disappointed. That was my best chance. I very rarely got to a point where I was hitting the 8 ball. Hey, he scratched. Perfect. That is perfect. Just the break I was looking for. Yeah, so we'll put the cue ball right behind the 8 ball and an easy tap in for my first and only legitimate victory. Hooray for me. All right. So then I think I'm going to be a sore winner and beat this guy up for any money he might have taken from me. Nothing like whacking him with the pool cue. Get some. Oh my, he went flying. Okay, cool. So won a couple $1,000s. I think we started this attempt with $5,863, and now we're $2,000 richer. And now we'll save our game right here, although I could have just driven because like I'm going to save my game somewhere else too. So we'll grab a quick drink. I'm not going to go through a marathon sprunk session here, just resetting that 48-hour clock where you always have to eat or drink once every 48 hours. All right, so we'll save here, and then I will hop into a vehicle and head back to Mulholland, which is where we started this video in, and be prepared for our very next video. This perennial will do me nicely here in the pouring rain. My goodness, this is torrential. Okay, so we'll skip the long drive up north, heading to, I guess Mulholland is in Red County, isn't it? I don't think it's in Los Santos proper. And again, this is the last safe house we bought. And we're going to head right on in there, and we'll save using the actual save icon in this house. And then we will call this odds and ends video done. So, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.